Is everybody in? Is everybody in? Everybody in. About to begin.
Oh, we got the little ding.
Jim got a message.
You've got a message.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the official Pro Tunes Pop Culture Pros Volume 2 Doors. And we're just going, like we said last week, album by album. This is going to be album number 2, which is Strange Days, which was released shortly after the Doors' original, what do they call it back in the days? EP. Reason being, it was recorded, not recorded. It was music that they already had. They didn't rewrite the music. They just recorded what they were already playing prior to them going popular and famous with their first EP, which was amazing. And we're going to kind of dive into that a little bit today. It is a short album, right, Tim? So we're
very short.
Yep. So we're probably going to zip through it, but just a reminder, this is Pro Tunes. Tim and I kicked this off, so we started with a band, which we kind of got into last week, which is very personal to us. It kind of brought us together as friends. We knew each other, but it brought us together as close friends. Friendship that has lasted for many years, probably older than most people, which we're proud of and happy for. But we're going to go and proceed through each and every Doors album, and then after that, it's going to evolve into a whole different thing. We have no idea what direction it's going to go into. We may put out some suggestions for albums or bands people may want us to dive into. There'll be other people hosting besides Tim and I in some weeks. It's going to be a venture. But for now, this is the Doors Pro Tunes Volume 2, Strange Days.
Yes. Very quick album.
Yes, very quick album.
It's great, too, because there's not a song over 3:23. But then you get to when the music's over at the end, that's 11 minutes.
Oh.
It's so insane how they did that.
And that song, and it's the last song, so it's going to be the last thing we get to. But that song is one of my favorite Doors songs. Like, we mentioned the top 10 last week. And if you didn't see last week's show, go check us out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Pop Culture Pros. The shows are out there. There's a lot of shows out there, so you might have to scroll, but you can just do a search. Look for Pro Tunes. And you'll find us. We did the first album last week, and we kind of did a little bit of a history of us and our Doors fandom and things like that. Right, Tim?
Yep. And we're going to do a little something different, too, at the end of our 5-album run. We're going to pick one song each off the album and kind of make our own greatest hits, but not the hit songs that you all know. It's going to be songs that aren't the hits, and we're going to kind of put a Keith and Tim greatest hits you don't know about selection. So we already picked our 2 from the first album. We're going to pick our 2 today, but we're not going to reveal it until we're done. After LA Woman, that's 3 albums from now, 4 albums, whatever you want to call it, however you want again, we will give you our greatest hits. That's not their greatest hits. That's what you want to call it, I guess.
We're going to put a little Rick flair on it, baby. Just a little tie into the Just Too Sweet show, another show you should be watching.
Exactly.
So you want to start, Tim? Just diving right into song numero uno on Strange Days album?
Yeah, it's the title song, Strange Days. Not really much to say about this song. Is another song that was written way before they even got signed, way before they even started recording. My part, I love about this song, Keith. After the tempo change, it's like all nice, and then all of a sudden, bah, 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 bah. I absolutely go crazy every time that part comes on. I was on the train just listening to it, and I was like, I got to keep still. I'm about to start trying to mosh around the train a little bit. I love the tempo change.
What Jim does it, right?
Yeah, and this is one of those songs that definitely would be like, people would say, "Oh, it's a Doors." Definitely know it's a Doors song. It's a little weird. It's a little freaky. It's a little, how am I going to put it? Quirky? Not really quirky.
It's an amazing song. I mean, I love
it. It is,
that
though.
song.
It is a great song. But yeah, but listen, my favorite part is that tempo change. It gets you all pumped up, gets you excited. Yeah, it's another great song. I think it's very underrated as a song, too.
I agree. And one of my favorite things of where the origins of the song, not so much of the song itself, is it came about in New York, right? So Jim was in New York. I think it was in Greenwich Village, and it was just the beginning of like the hippie movement, and it was a wave of it was a wave in this country, essentially. You know, it was a political wave. It was a revolution, and he saw like the big time, because in New York, all the changes either starts in New York or California, and then it kind of waves across the country. And he saw like the hippie movement in downtown Manhattan, and he saw like all these weird things going on, and it to him it was strange. Strange Days is the name of the song, and those moments to him were strange. And to be honest with you, it was a strange time because the country was going through so much turmoil, kind of similar to what we went through now, except I think they maybe handled it better back then. But similar to what's happening now with the country, and we're going through a change, you know, and change is painful. Growth hurts, but Jim recognized that at its very beginning and wrote this song. According to that, I think he wrote it in 1965 or 66, right?
Yeah, definitely early. It was before the first album. Definitely, this demo out there is Strange Days, and that's also very good.
Hey, Bill, my brother.
Oh, Captain Bill, what's up, brother?
And he kind of mentioned to music's over, and this is again we're jumping way ahead, but it's really a good point. When you're at a bar, if you put the music's over on the jukebox, you get the best bang for your buck. It's an 11-minute song, and it's a great song. He said he always played it at all the pubs. So it's a lot better than Huey Courtney, right, bro? He always plays the same things over and over
again. They ban you from karaoke. They don't want you to do the end or the music's over because it's too long.
I don't blame him.
Boss man, what's up, boss? How's it going?
Steve Faraci said we're looking sexy. You're always sexy, Mr. Faraci.
That's a given.
Yeah, so I guess, I mean, I don't know how much more we can get into on that song, right? So if you want, well, was it this song? There was one song. I'm not sure if it's this song. I got to look into it. I'll get back to it if it is. There's a song that was influenced Ray Manzarek. I want to say, let me get back to it because I don't want to hold the whole show up with me trying to remember my thoughts. So second song on that album is another great song that we all love. Right, Tim? Yes. Your Lost Little Girl.
Very much.
It's a slow song. It's actually a good song. What are your take on this? What's your take on this song?
Yeah, there's not much information like about the song, about how it was written, but I want to use the word haunting. Because you say your lost little girl, It's one of those. I can't really put that into words. It's suggestive, but it's not sexually suggestive or anything like that. It's like a deep meaning. Like Jim's felt like he's talking to someone. You are lost. You need help. That kind of thing. I don't know whether it's drugs. I don't know whether it's whatever, but it really is like a haunting, beautiful song that I really get into on when I hear it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and when I hear that song, my take on it, and again, it's all take. There's not a lot of some Doors songs have a lot of history, a lot of written history. You can research and kind of see where they were at and the origin of the music, especially their first album. If you watch last week's episode, you'll see we really went into a lot of origin detail. Later albums, not so much. Not all of the songs. So it's all up for interpretation, right? So when I hear the song, "Your Lost Little Girl," I think of it as like somebody who doesn't know their way quite yet in the world, like a young, I guess in this case, a young woman, right, a young girl. They don't quite understand what their place in the world is. They're struggling with something, and I think
it's emotional. It's an emotional song.
It's very emotional, and I wonder if he's still singing that to. What was his first girlfriend's name?
Oh, I forgot her name already, but yeah, she was everywhere. But these songs are all written all at the same time, so
right. So I'm wondering if he's singing that to her.
It's like you lost. Tell me who you are. Tell me who you are. Yeah, I mean, it's more like what's more like, I don't know, like a little girl, like a lost little girl. It's creepy, but not in a bad way. Creepy. It's like
See, I think Jim was very sexual in everything he sang. I don't think it was demeaning or meant to be creepy. I think it was meant to be more like romantic. But
yeah, I think so too.
He comes across very creepy. He does.
He can be. He can be creepy.
trying to remember that song. There was one song on this album where Ray Manzarek's keyboard was influenced by some weird. It's not this person, but like a Engelbert Humperdinck type of person. I just don't recall. I don't recall who it is, and now I'm stuck on that fact. So I will have to get back or post it up in Pop Culture Pros and give you guys a little more detail. Yeah, I guess. I mean, then you go right to the next song. We're already on song number 3, and we're like 10 minutes into the show.
Oh, you made a quick one. It's a quick
Yeah.
one. This one.
Next song, everybody knows. It's called "Love Me 2 Times." It was one of the biggest hits in Doors history, I think.
Top 30. 2 songs came off this album, top 30. This one and People Are Strange, which we'll also get to.
Yeah, and I think the album itself hit the top 3, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So, "Love Me 2 Times." It reached number 25 on the charts in the United States. And Ray Manzarek actually, on the final version of the song, played on a harpsichord. Ironically, oddly enough, not a clavichord. And he described the harpsichord as the most elegant instrument that one does not normally associate with rock and roll.
And that's what they do, man. That's what they always do.
They do. When you say those words in that way, it makes you really feel like you're speaking for Ray Manzarek, because that's how he spoke.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd always add like a man afterwards. Yeah. Faraci says he's going to love you 3 times, Tim.
And I'll love you 4, Steve. We'll just keep going all day. I'll keep outbidding you. But this is one of the great bluesy rock riffs. If you don't know this song, you're crazy. A great bluesy rock song. This is another great karaoke type song that you can get into in a bar. Just a cool song. And again, I don't really like remakes, but Aerosmith did a pretty kick-ass version of this song on the Doors tribute album they had a couple years ago. Really good version of the song. They did it live also. I saw them live and they did it, and that was really good also. So
yeah, and
I don't recommend there's so many.
The Robbie Krieger riff is really cool on this song, and I know somebody back in the days when the album was first released called it jerkily rhythmic. I don't know if I agree with that, but yeah, it makes sense. I understand where they can come from. And the Rolling Stone called this song heavily evocative and a climatic piece. And actually, back in the day, "Love Me 2 Times, Baby," "Love Me Twice Today," "Love Me 2 Times, Girl," "I've Gone Away" was very provocative. Radio stations had a hard time with this song, but it became such a hit, they played it. But it was, it was a different time and age, right? Nowadays, they play on a radio F word and smoke a blunt and do all this, that, and the other thing. Back then, Jim Morrison growing up and with tight leather pants saying "Love Me 2 Times, Baby," "Love Me 2 Times, Girl," "Love Me Twice Today" was provocative for the radio stations, and they feared the FCC and the government and all the Bible Belt people just shunning them, which is ridiculous, but I guess that's what makes rock and roll, being a little daring and over the top. But yeah, you're right. Aerosmith recorded this in 1990, right?
Something like that. Yeah, on a tribute album. A lot of groups did a lot of songs, but this one was by far the best cover of the song, easily.
I typically hate covers, but yeah,
I typically do too. But they did if anyone's going to do it, I'm glad Aerosmith did it.
Yeah, Steven Tyler, for the freak he can be, he's like a weird dude and got a checkered past and all the drugs and everything else. Talented vocalist. Even his old age, his voice changed. But if you watch, he does some charity events. He can still wail.
He looks like Kate in general, unfortunately, but yeah, he can still sing.
What I saw a meme, not to derail, but I will a little bit because that's what I do. I saw a meme where it had him, because he dresses in like
scarves and he looks like a
it
woman.
looks like something like your grandmother would get out of Land's End or something, and with his long hair and all the jewelry, and it said, "Why does Steven Tyler look like my friend's aunt that lets us drink at their house and smoke pot? as long as we're not getting in trouble."
That's great.
Yeah, that is. All right, so that's "Love Me Two Times," right, Tim? What's the next song?
Unhappy Girl. And again, I this is one of those songs I really didn't listen to often. And I'm not a big skipper when it comes to the Doors albums. But the last couple of days I've been listening to this song, and again, I have to use the word haunting, beautiful. It's another. Like, I'm really getting in. I'm glad we're doing this show because it's kind of bringing back more of these things. And it's another one, another great song, underlining meaning. We don't know what there's no definitive meaning out there anywhere, but I mean, it could mean a girl who's been left alone. It could be, a girl who's, stuck there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to really describe it. The lyrics alone, unhappy girl left all alone, playing solitaire, playing warden to your soul. It's like, whoa. It's like, that's a little deep.
Wait, they had windows back then?
So
they played solitaire with actual cards? Wait, what happened?
Yeah, I guess solitaire, yeah. And yeah, I guess this song gets really kind of deep. And again, another song about a girl lost or, I don't know what was going on with this. They how they put this album together.
Yeah, it's funny, right?
But it's a great theme. It's a great theme.
Kind of tying those things together, right, with these first two albums, because as we stated earlier and last week on the original EP, a lot of these songs originally were his first heartbreak, and these songs were all written around the same time period, so they may be all related to this one girl. Later, as you will see as we go along, the songs change; they become more bluesy, sometimes more dark.
Definitely dark.
Oh, I just muted myself. Sometimes more political. I mean, great. Some of the great songs are yet to come after this album for sure. This song is a little off from what normal Doors songs are. Mm-hmm. It is enjoyable though. Like you said, I'm not a skipper to the Millionaire or his wife. I just listen to the music. I listen to straight through because I appreciate the Doors that much. But there are some songs that, I can live with or without.
Yeah, if you really listen to, like I say, you really listen to the lyrics. Stuck in a prison of your own device. Fast fly away, don't miss your chance to swim in mystery. You are dying in a prison of your own device. Wow, man. It's like how is this guy 20, 22, 23 writing all these freaking songs?
It reminds me that verse right there reminds me of like Renfest when you go through the torture chamber. Like torture your own device. What? But I mean, essentially saying your thoughts or your own whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're creating your own misery. Get over it.
Yep.
Was that harsh?
Agree. No, not at all.
Next song is about Mr. Ed.
It's not even a song.
It's not even a song.
First time one of his poems appears in poem form on one of their albums.
And if you listen to it, it's kind of really, I'll say, radical for the day and age. A lot of these songs are, because in a time where everybody was supposed to trying to I guess there's a lot of revolution and things like that going on, but it was dark. Some of these songs were just dark, and I'm not sure they fit the time, but people gravitated to it because I think we all have a darkness inside of us, when and it's weird when the still sea conspires in armor and her sullen and aborted currents breed tiny monsters. True sailing is dead. Like what? Most people who were buying this album back in those days were like probably early to late teens, early 20s, tripping on acid and smoking weed. So I'm sure if you're tripping out, you popped a couple of hits and somebody says, when a still sea conspires in armor and her sullen and aborted currents breed tiny monsters, true sailing is dead. You understood it, but truly, really, you had no idea what he was talking about.
No. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that people will be like, this is why I don't like the Doors, because this guy is out sprouting shit like this. But you know what? All poetry is subjective. I read those stupid poems on the subway every day, and I go, that sucks. That's I'd rather listen to a Jim Morrison poem any day than the shit they got sprawled all over the subway trains. It's subjective. Either you like it or you don't. Either you understand it or you don't. And you dig it or you don't. It's just the way it goes with everything.
It's like in Mute Nostril Agony, you know, you got to be carefully refined and sealed over.
By the way, this is called Horse Latitudes, by the way.
All right, Horse Latitudes. We didn't even get into that, right?
And well, you know what? Well, we'll go to the next song too, because remember when they do this live, they do Horse Latitudes in the middle of the next song.
Oh, they do. Yeah. But it feels better.
Yeah.
In the next song.
I love when they do it on the double live album. They do the next. Let's just do the next song, and then we'll go back.
That works.
Yeah. So the next song is Moonlight Drive, which is probably, if you know your Doors history, one of the most famous songs. This is the song that Jim sang to Ray on the beach, Venice Beach. He was blown away by it, so we got to start a band, and that's how it became about. This was that song. Let's swim to the moon. Let's climb to the tide. That was it. Ray was hooked, man. And so when they do this song live, in the middle of the song, they'll stop, and he'll bust out Horse Latitudes, which I think works phenomenal together. I love the fact that they put these two together when they do it live. It works so much better as just a single poem on the album as it is live when they combine these two.
Yeah, because the poem is weird. It's Jim's mind. You really don't know what he's talking about. And truthfully, when you put it in the middle of a great song with the music behind it, it just works.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'll listen to it more carefully, whereas opposed to just a weird poem with some strange noises behind it, which is kind of what the verse on the album is, my opinion. Yeah. People out there might tell me I'm crazy, but you know.
Screw those people.
What song? My brother said I saw a guy crying listening to that song. What song is that, bro? Moonlight Drive or Horse Latitudes?
I hope it was on Horse Latitudes.
I hope it was, actually. I want to hear that story. Yeah, and we mentioned this on last week's show, I think, right, Tim? We were talking about how, like, Jim and Ray met on the beach. Well, they knew each other already, but they bumped into each other on the beach, and Jim was saying, hey, I'm writing some music. Ray coerced him to sing for him, and Jim was shy, yada, 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 yada.
You can watch that in the movie if you want. That's all in the movie, that part.
Go check it out. Or there's an awesome documentary on Prime Video, Doors. It's a Doors
classic album.
Yeah, it's great. And it kind of goes into a lot of stuff we spoke about last week, except you'll get a different take from us because it's more of a down-to-earth fan perspective, although their perspective comes straight from the band, which is where we get most of our stuff anyway. But you should watch us anyway.
Watch us before that.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I broke out No One Here Gets Out Alive. I'm going to start reading it again, Tim.
Great book.
Yeah, it's sitting in my living room right now. I'm going to pick it up. That was me and you, right? I think it was first released, right? We went down. Was that with you? We went down to Queens Boulevard by the Queen Center Mall. I think it was Barnes and Nobles over there at the time.
And we got the posters with the posters on the. We had the same shirt, the same poster. Yeah, we were a bit of nerdy.
Yeah, so what?
Buying matching stuff.
I'm gonna go on mute because if anybody has a problem with that, you know what I mean.
They had we had the Jim Morrison Wanted poster. We both bought that at the same time at the mall.
Yeah, I wish I still had that. I don't know where that is.
Yeah, my mother probably ripped it down somewhere.
Yeah, I probably got in trouble and got it tossed out too. But yeah, Moonlight Drive is a great song, and Robbie Krieger, the slide that he does on the neck of his guitar,
the bottleneck slide. The bottleneck slide. And right. Even again, we're not trying to shit on. We'll talk about the album, but again, live, it is insane sounding. How he pulled that off live, but yeah, even on the album, what a great guitarist he is.
My brother said it was Horse Latitudes, and it was in the woods tripping balls. So that makes sense because, again, like I said earlier, when you're on acid and everything else, it makes some sort of sense until you come down, and then it don't make sense. But you remember that feeling you had when it didn't make sense, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's a great. The Doors will do that to you, like and again, this is something we may or may not get into. American Prayer. It's kind of the same thing. It means something different to everybody. Jim was good that way. Jim was dark. I mean, there was people out there, and we won't get too much into this, but just quickly going off, there was people out there who had like a cult following. Like thought he was sending him secret messages through music, and people, people do what they do. But my point is, everything is up for interpretation. So
if we do, I wish we could play. I know I'm not knocking you, boss. It's not your fault. It's Facebook's fault and YouTube's fault. I wish we could play the songs. That would be fantastic if we can get.
I know. I wish Farachi would make a deal with YouTube already. Your Farachi, your lack of a deal with YouTube is holding us back.
Don't knock the poor guy.
If you don't know, Farachi and I are very good friends, so I can knock him all I want. That's what friends do, right?
If we could play it, I would love to be able to play because I think me and you would be great playing a song and just reacting to it. Like not even like discussing it the way we are now. I would do this whole thing over again.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Listening track by track and just looking at each other's faces and just laughing. Or I would even start drinking again for that. I would.
Well, I would say take it light. Start with like a sparkling seltzer or something. Because
no, I go full on 40-ounce.
Okay, let me tell you, if I don't drink whiskey for a couple weeks and then I pick up a glass of whiskey, which is what I just did now, it hits me. I don't want to even know what a few years would do if you picked up a glass. So yeah, just take it light.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what it does. I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank in a long time. So my daughter was 1, so that's 12 years. I did a shot though for my niece. We found out my niece was being born. I took a shot. I felt it. I felt one shot.
Oh, no, it's absolutely true.
Felt it. I was like, wow, I can actually feel that.
If I binge, I can drink a bottle and walk a straight line and be fine. But if I stop for a while and I start a glass like I just did now, halfway through, which I am now, I start feeling buzzed, which I don't feel now. But my brother said that the song "Horse Latitude" scared him, and I don't blame him because you're breeding tiny monsters. What are you doing, Jim?
Tiny monsters are always scary. Any monster is scary.
Yeah, and off topic again, because again that's what I do. I remember some classic drinking times with you and I. I remember, was it your birthday? And we had the was it the fermented cherries? And I started making your cousin and everybody else start doing keg stands and we had
fun.
People puking in the back of pickup trucks on the way back to your house in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Yep. That didn't really happen. And if it was your truck, it wasn't me and it wasn't anybody I know. But nope. Good times.
No, we were more famous for the 40 ounces up on the roof. That kind of thing.
Eliminator. So, but I do remember the keg stands in Greenpoint, Brooklyn.
Oh, keg stands were bad. That was my 21st.
Was it your 20? Oh man, that was. And I remember this is definitely not for live broadcasting, but I do remember some. I remember the train ride home with Fred and I, and it was interesting. I won't get into detail, just to protect the innocent.
Fred's got to get on Facebook, that bastard, so we can see his stupid comments.
Yeah, he's becoming what's his name from Conspiracy Theory? What's his name? The guy that hates Jewish people. Just Mel Gibson.
Let's see. Let's move on. Let's move on now.
And then he makes some anti-Semitic remarks. Anyway,
any last thoughts about Moonlight Drive before we move on?
I'm not professing to know that he hates Jewish people. I'm just saying I thought he made anti-Semitic remarks, and if I'm wrong, I apologize.
No, he made The Passion, and The Passion is pretty much anti-Jewish.
Well, yes and no. But I think he made some direct remarks, and I could be wrong
about that movie. Yeah.
If I'm wrong, then
Jesus and all that stuff. Yeah.
Anyway,
he said all that
stuff. Let's now talk about the weather. So now we're gonna go flip to side B or side
That's 2. Right, kiddies. Side B.
You're gonna lift the vinyl and you're gonna do this. There was actually an art to flipping a vinyl, right, Tim?
Yeah. No finger, like the hand. Just
my brother and I speak. My brother said Hitler. No, not Hitler. We're talking about Mel Gibson. We're talking about my brother and I had vinyl in our room. First album I ever bought on vinyl was Motley Crue's Shout at the Devil.
I'm not even gonna tell you what mine was.
What?
Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh boy, at least mine was better. But Thriller was a great album. I'm not lying. I had a poster in my room. My brother will tell you, I had a poster in my room.
First record I ever owned, Michael Jackson.
Great album. But you take it and you kind of hold it like on the sides and you kind of do this little flip thing. I can't explain it.
Yeah, the little flip. Yeah.
And then you just lay it right back down and you drop the needle on it. Beautiful thing. Wow, this show went into a weird direction.
Well, we needed some filler.
Yeah, we did. So we're talking
we're
about
almost done already. So we needed some filler.
And I couldn't think of Mel Gibson's name, and apparently my description of Mel Gibson's name was liking to someone else. So side B, side 2, song number 1 is what, Tim?
People Are Strange. If you don't know this song, you're watching the wrong show, or any show for that matter, because it's one of the most famous songs probably ever. Yeah, it's a classic. It's the second song that made the top 30 off this album. Written by Jim and Robbie, but the whole band kind of gets the credit for it. But they're the ones who really wrote most of it. It's I don't know. This was the one. Oh, this is the one. This is the one that I like the story of. Jim was depressed or something. He was very depressed, and they're like, "What's the matter with him?" Like, "Oh, we're gonna go for a walk." They went for a walk, California, Laurel Canyon, I believe it was, and Jim was just looking at people, looking at the faces, looking around. And by the time they got back to the apartment, he wrote most of the song, and he was ecstatic, and he wrote it, and he sang the first, I think the chorus, "People Are Strange When You're a Stranger," and bam, Robbie was like, "That's a hit, dude. We got it."
Did you just drop an F-bomb?
Yes, I'm sorry. So yeah, apparently Robbie heard the first thing. They started with the whole down, boom. They had a hit, and Robbie knew it was a hit. Next thing you know, it's a hit.
When You're a Stranger. Right. It was Laurel Canyon. And a quote from Jim regarding this song. Sorry, I muted myself back. Regarding the song. I want to do a Jim voice, but I'll tell you, yeah, man, I really feel good about this one. So Jim said, yeah, I really feel good about this one. It just came to me all of a sudden in a flash. As I was sitting up there on the ridge looking out over the city, his eyes were wild with excitement. I scribbled it down as fast as I could. It felt great to be writing again. He looked down at the crumpled paper in his hand and sang the chorus in his haunting blues voice. John Densmore. That it was John Densmore quoting Jim Morrison, to be clear. And you know, the funny thing is, again, this Oliver Stone movie, very entertaining, but it painted a really bad picture of Jim. Jim was not a bad guy. He was a troubled guy. You know, I mean, you know, how many of us do not? I mean, I'm blessed I had great parents, right? But really, truthfully, how many of us do not have some mommy or daddy issues? A good percentage of us do, and he did, and it affected him. And a lot of his talent was inspired by his pain, and his blues voice, his darkness, his way of seeing things was inspired by what he felt growing up through his life. You know, he saw life through a different colored pair of glasses than we all do.
I mean, he was always weird. But just judging by we was laughing. If you're a Doors fan, No One Here Gets Out Alive is a phenomenal book, and he was a weird kid. But he wasn't crazy. He was just a weird, eccentric kind of kid who grew up to be that way. We're going to say this all the time. Jim had a drinking problem. I don't really think he had a drug problem. Everyone will attest to this. He did things because you told him he couldn't do it. Like you can't drink or you can't, shoot heroin. Well, I'm going to go shoot heroin. You told me I can't do it. You can't drink 36 beers, hit a cop car, and get away with it. Well, I'm gonna drink 36 beers, hit a cop car, and get away with it. And he did. He got away with hitting a cop car drunk. He got away with it because you told him he couldn't do it. That was just his personality. He wanted to test every boundary you put in front of him, and he did it.
Heroin took him over that edge, though.
Yeah, no, it did. I'm not saying it didn't. Yeah, I'm not saying he didn't have a problem with it, but he started doing these things as a way of saying, whatever you tell me I can't do, I'm going to do. Whatever boundary.
Oh, I definitely hear that.
I'm going to blow right through that boundary because that's bullshit.
I live with a attitude, you know.
Yeah.
I suck at something till you tell me I suck at it, then I'm gonna be the best at it, and I'm gonna give you that finger that comes up in the middle.
That's kind of how
Uh,
he is.
yeah, I get that. I feel that, but I think he just uses motivation the wrong way,
Of
unfortunately.
course. Of
But
course.
going back, something I forgot in Strange Days. I think they made like videos for it, right, Tim? There's 2 videos. One of the videos for that I was reading earlier was a famous video you see of Jim crashing into a ditch in sand.
Hmm.
And have you ever seen Jim going driving all crazy, and then he crashes his car? That was one of the first takes for a video for Strange Days, which is the first song all the way back, and the album name, of course. Pretty little.
That's on the if you watch When You're Strange, the documentary with Johnny Depp narrated.
That was a
All
good one.
all that footage is on there. And don't forget this creepy background that we have this is the cover of the album. This moves. If you find the right one, there's video of this going on, how they took this picture. And it's a little
Yeah.
creepy watching this fat guy and this midget dance. Like you see Keith's using his head right now as his body. It's pretty funny. Every time you move into the midget's body, I laugh.
To me, this is the
It's great. It's better when you don't know. It's more funnier.
hold on. I'll sit on purpose over there. Hold on. This is this is one of the most this is
Great.
this is to me the best album cover for sure.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's great. It's fantastic. It says 1967 on it.
It
Right
does,
there.
and thus Strange Days. So like when the hippies came out, they just went wild and they just did all this crazy stuff, you know. And I grew up with, and my brother who's listening, you know, if he's still watching, he'll tell you we grew up with hippie parents, and my parents are, especially as we got older, very open, and they would tell us like all the crazy stuff they saw and did. It was fun, you know. They just did what they felt, mostly with respect for each other. I guess, you know, human race sucks. Everybody's gonna, but anyway, hippies were fun if you look at them back then. And to Jim, it looked like a circus, you know, and that's what he depicts in this album cover. And I think the album cover is great.
Meanwhile, I'm in the fat guy's armpit.
Actually, you're more like on his little, right below his titty right now. Can you say titty?
I don't know.
Well, I said it twice.
I'm sure you can. It's too late anyway. Can't take it back.
So yeah, people are strange. My brother said, yeah. So like my mother would tell me stories like they'd be at a place and, you know, a guy with a cape would come flying in the room and like all types. You know, that's just what they did. It was fun.
I didn't have hippie parents. My mother was a Motown kind of gal, Diana Ross and all that
Nothing wrong
stuff.
with that.
My father was a Beatles kind of guy, not really hippie-ish though. You know, he was the jock athlete type guy.
And you know, the funny thing is, you mentioned it that way. Music, I don't think so much today, right? But all the way up, I think all the way through the '90s, music really depicted how you grew up and what you did, and it was a symbol of your era. I think it's a little era. I think it's a little different now. I think
That's
that was.
music sucks. Oh,
Yeah.
the kids suck today too. So I would say it's right on.
Wait, I got to do this because that's his chin right there. Oh yeah, look at that! Oh.
We could
Terrible.
do a whole show just on that.
We could. Era. The guy from what was it? The Mini Me. He was one time on Big Brother and he got drunk and he started throwing up. And when he was throwing up, that's the sound he made. Era.
Oh yeah, Vern Troyer. Yeah.
Vern,
Yeah.
and have you ever seen interviews with him? He was so entertaining. He was such a fun dude. You know, but that is what it. Tim's my brother said that's the strong man from the circus. So
Yes,
you're
Bill, yeah.
you're on the strong man's peck, not titty. I'm the midget's chin. So
I want
the
to
next,
I'm gonna play this back and take a picture of it and send it to you.
you should. So we are definitely filling up a whole bunch. So we'll just move on to the next song because I think when the music's over, the last song on the album, we're probably gonna have a few things to say, and that's "My Eyes Have Seen You."
Sounds like a Frankie Valli song, but it's not.
You know what? That's funny. I didn't think of it that way. It really does. And that's not anything offensive to Frankie Valli because Frankie Valli was awesome. But yeah,
Another one of my favorites.
yeah. But that definitely sounds like a Frankie Valli song, but it's definitely far from it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder. Again, this is another one. I wonder if it has to do with one of his heartbreaks.
Well, this one is it's very poppy. This is like a Doors pop song, and it's very simple. And it just really repeats itself over and over again. My eyes have seen you. My eyes have seen you. Then it's like, stand in your door, meet me inside, show me some more, show me some more, show me some more. My eyes have seen you over and over again. It's a simple pop song, but again, it's another good song. It's another underrated song. That's how I'm gonna put it that way. And you can interpret. Let me say, the Doors are one of those bands where, like you said before, Keith, you can interpret it one way. I could interpret it another. The third person can interpret it. Bill might have another interpretation of the song, and I think that's what makes a band great. It doesn't always have to be A, B, and C. This song's about this chick's boobies, and this song's about no. It's all interpretation, and I love it. But this is a simple pop song, and I think it works.
I do. I like, and it's quick. It's a 2-minute hit.
2 minutes.
And then
fast.
you're done.
All these songs are fast.
But what do you think of the next song, which is "I Can't See Your Face in My Mind"?
This is another one of those songs that I'm glad that we did this show because it's one was written by John and Jim. This one I'm interpreting as he's not in love with a girl anymore. Again, we're going back to the girlfriend again. Mary Munchell. What was her name? Mary something?
Yeah, it was Mary something. I don't remember. Let me look it up.
Mary Munchell, some shit. Because it's I can't see your face in my mind anymore. Don't you cry, baby, please don't cry, and don't look at me with your eyes. To me, it's I'm not in love with you anymore. Time to move on. I can't see your face anymore. I'm over you. That's how I'm interpreting this song. But again, now that we did this show, because I say we're not skippers, but a couple of songs are background. Too. Yeah, but a couple of songs are background songs. Like now that we did the show and I got to really listen to some of these songs, I'm like, wow, this is actually a really clever, well-written breakup song, and it really, really is. So I see it as that. I see it as he fell out of love with this girl, and she, I can't see your face in my mind anymore because I'm over you. I'm done with you.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it's funny because if you look at these first two albums, a lot of the songs are written around his heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
And as you will see as we go forward, it turns the tide. We get very dark in Jim's mind and very bluesy in some cases. And his songs become way more like it paints a picture in your mind of what he's singing about. Where in the first, well, not always, because he goes into his poetry, which sometimes gets whacked out. But his first couple albums are very poppy. So, some paint a picture, like you walk down the hall, the end, even the music's over, which we're going to get into in a minute. But if you look way back at the first two albums versus the remaining albums, progressively he paints a more vivid picture of what he's singing and talking about. And he gets way more bluesy. I like the later Doors blues albums. I really admire these first few albums, but the more bluesy they get, the more they sing to my soul. But in this song particularly, he says, don't you cry, baby, please don't cry when you look at me with your eyes. And don't look at me with your eyes. So, he wants her to be okay, but he doesn't want her to pierce his soul with her eyes.
Yeah, he's over her. He's done.
Yeah, he's over it. It's sad. It's a sad song.
It is very sad. And again, I'm glad we did this because going back and really listening, it's like, wow, I'm rediscovering stuff.
Me too. This us getting into this Pro Tunes on Pop Culture Pros is teaching me more, and we were pretty in depth on the Doors, but this is teaching me even more about the Doors than I even knew prior to us doing it. So it is pretty cool, and I hope all of you are enjoying it as well. Please comment. You don't have to watch it now because these albums are like 60 years old, so there's no timeline. You're not doing any spoiler alerts or anything. So please comment, shoot us messages. We'll be happy to answer as we can.
Absolutely. Let's get to that last one. It said you got 2-minute songs and then bam, an 11-minute epic
Monster.
Song.
Rock monster. I mean, yeah. You want to start? I'll let you start if you want.
When the music's over. It's such a
Let
me tell you something else too about this 11-minute song. That 11 minutes go fast. It's not like 11-minute song, because I understand some people might get tired of Light My Fire because it's all instrumental. The end maybe is a little too weird for people, but this one, it's such a great marriage of Jim singing and the phenomenal music. It's a great combination of the two. There's no big long breaks or anything. It's a lot of him screaming, a lot of him doing his thing. He goes from crooner to singer to blues guy to rock guy. It is probably one of the best all around Door songs put together.
It is, and it will officially take you longer to cancel your subscription to the Resurrection than it will for you to listen to the song.
That's true.
And if you don't know what that means, you should definitely take a listen to that song. This song spoke to me a lot as a kid and even as an adult, because music is very special to me. And this song has many directions in it, but if there's one thing I take from this as a whole is how special music is. And music to me is, you could take away my TV, you can take away my electricity, you can even take away, and I'm in Florida, and this is a lot, my air conditioning. Just don't take away my music. Music has been my special friend until the end.
By the way, this is the song you were looking for as far as Ray Manzarek's crazy influence.
Yeah, what was it?
It's
oh, is it this one?
Yeah, Ray Manzarek was inspired by Herbie Hancock's Watermelon Man.
That's it. I knew I saw something up there. What I say?
Watermelon Man.
Humperdinck?
Yeah, you can book Humperdinck.
But I'm on the same page, whatever.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
That's great. But yeah, I didn't even know Herbie Hancock was around that long.
I didn't even know Herbie Hancock sang songs until I was like in my teens.
Yeah, he sang one song, the instrumental one, but I had no idea he was all the way back then. But yeah, the intro came from that inspiration of Herbie Hancock. Wow. Watermelon Man.
Yeah, I mean, oh, you know what? I do know Herbie Hancock. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Remember that video with the robot arms and the?
Yeah, that's the one song I ever heard him did. So I didn't know he was around in the '60s writing for James Brown or whoever else I saw he was writing for.
Yeah. So, this song to me, it's really an amazing song. And I think this is another song that they wrote way before, right? Before they recorded their first EP.
Yeah, and they did a lot. I think John is the one who said it. He said we did a lot shorter versions, but when after they recorded it on the album, they started doing the long version live, and he said it was very intense because it's not a 3-minute pop song, a 2-minute pop song. This is an 11-minute, very intense. Plus, Jim would slow it down even more. When he said we want the world and we want it, he wouldn't just scream now. He would wait. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. There's Ray playing the same note. Doo-doo. Robbie. Doo-doo. John sitting there waiting patiently for this goddamn thing to scream.
And sometimes Jim would drag it out.
Yeah. So he said this 11-minute song could turn to a 16, 17-minute song. He said it was very intense, and he had to work himself up to it. So I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I heard that they were just tired of hanging around, waiting around with their heads to the ground on that song.
Probably.
I hear a very gentle sound.
Well, did you read that thing about the structure, which I found very interesting?
No.
It says this song can be divided into 5 parts. The 5 parts are Turn Out the Lights, Dance on Fire, Cancel My Subscription, What Have You Done to the Earth, Persian Night, and then you return to the main themes. I never saw it like that, as breaking it down structurally into 5 parts, but it kind of makes a lot of sense.
I guess. But to me, it all kind of fits together.
Yeah.
It takes you on a trip.
Yeah.
Through this, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's a great song, and I love the whole "We want the world and we want it." And really, it's prophetic, right? Because I think a lot of ways he's talking about us kind of destroying the earth. And you'll hear that in other parts of the songs. Ravaged and plundered and ripped her and bit her, stuck her with knives in the side of the dawn, tied her with fences and dragged her down. I hear a very gentle sound. It carries on today. And it's thankfully becoming a hotter topic. I just am not sure we're addressing it as properly as we should. But it's definitely an amazing song.
And that part is so. Even though you heard the song 1,000 times, you're waiting for that part to come on, dude. And you're like, he's gonna yell it any minute. He's gonna yell it, and then he just comes out with that. We want the world and we want it.
We want the world and we want it.
Now I love it. I love it. It's so good.
No.
And then to the big scream, and they bring the whole song back again. Outstanding.
Takes me back to last week when we were talking about how they really fed off each other, and when Jim was the leader of that band in a sense where they played to his tempo, and he would drag that, make it as quick as possible, drag it out as possible, do poetry in the middle, and they had to feel out where he was and play according to what he was doing on stage, and they did a fine job at it. And if you listen to any recorded, there's a lot of recorded live stuff, but the popular live stuff like the Hollywood Bowl or the Doors Double Live album, it's
Double Live album. Again, we keep talking about the Double Live album.
I love it.
Phenomenal album. Anyone who likes the Doors, or even if you don't, let me put it this way: if you're just getting into the Doors, get the Double Live album. I know CDs. Ooh, I want to buy a CD. I don't even know if it's on iTunes or not. Buy that album. It is outstanding. It is a collection of some of their best live music all thrown together. It's not just one concert. It's Hollywood Bowl. It's MSG. It's I don't know how many other places there is. So damn good. A phenomenal version of Backdoor Man. Yeah, phenomenal version of Moonlight Drive. Phenomenal version when the music's over. Phenomenal version of the end. It's just a really goddamn good double album.
I remember when Fez worked at Singers, there was a radio over by one of the prep stations, and often throughout the day, the Doors Double Live album would repeat over and over and over and over. It's just a great album. It's something you can listen to easily and repeatedly.
Mm-hmm. I love it, man. Absolutely love it.
I'm trying to see, I don't see that album out there. Did they stop producing it, or I haven't heard that album
live
in a long time. Yeah,
I have it buried somewhere, with my CDs and stuff.
Yeah, I don't see it. I see the Hollywood Bowl, but I don't see that double live anymore. I'm gonna have to really start digging down and taking a look for it, because that was, to me, truly one of the best Doors albums. And it's a compilation of all their music, of course, but it was great. And I don't see, I'm looking on Amazon Music right now. Not that I'm promoting for Jeff Bezos, because he's retiring and has enough money, but I just don't see it. I'm gonna have to take a look out there and see where I can find it. All I see is Hollywood Bowl and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't see it on iTunes either. But they have a lot of good stuff live. They have Absolutely Live at the Bowl, live in New York, Live
Yeah.
at the Isle of Man, which I haven't heard yet. I have to get that one.
I know we talked about that last week. I do need to listen to that too because that looks like a great album. And I was
Yeah.
looking at some of the history on that. It looks great.
Definitely.
I'm totally
awesome.
distracted looking for this album now.
I
should
know.
do that when we're off the show.
But yeah, if you can find it, if you can't find it, well, it sucks for you. But yeah, I would find someone who like us who have it buried in our CD collection somewhere and try to borrow it and copy it or do whatever it takes because it is outstanding. I think you got me into that one, Key, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I got it off.
I think you had it first, and I went out and bought it right away because it was so damn good.
It was really good, and I also I think put a few folks onto it too, and a lot of people started buying it. And I got
My
it from
cousin Dave. My cousin Dave, they went out and bought it. Yeah.
And for the record, if anybody's watching, all you lawyers, I actually fulfilled my contract.
Sure you did.
Mhm.
Keith Larris fulfilled his contract, but
the 7 names from the same address.
Yeah, but Keith Larris didn't do anything. Believe me, I had a lot. There were a lot of Tims living at my address back.
How
in the
did
day.
BMG even make money?
Dude, I don't know. That's a whole nother show.
They provided my whole CD. Yeah, that isn't a whole other show. We should do that another time. So, what have they done to the earth? Yeah, what have they done to our fair BMG? Ravaged and plundered and ripped her and bit her. So,
I'm trying to get your.
What's the next album we got up, Tim?
Next time we do it, it'll be Waiting for the Sun. Waiting for the sun. Waiting. I'm gonna start keep going. Waiting. Hey, there's no rule against us singing. I'm sure nobody wants to hear us sing, but as I said, a few drinks, we won't care what anybody thinks.
Hello, I love you. Won't you tell me your name?
See, no one's going to care that we're doing that too.
No.
So yeah, no, I'm into it now. I'm having a lot of fun doing these because, like I said, I am discovering songs that I would normally use as background music or filler, but now listening to them, yeah, I'm happy. I'm very happy, especially like I said, these last couple of girl songs, well, girl in the title. They're all pretty cool, man. I'm digging them.
Yeah, and the next album is kind of where, we were talking about how the first 2 albums were all pre-written and a lot of them had to do with like his past love life or whatever. The next album starts getting a little darker, starts getting a little bit more into his poetry and things like that.
You can tell where the drugs came on, the drugs and the drinking.
You can tell that too.
Yeah.
They also got a little more political. 521, great song. 1 and 5, because no one here gets out alive. My Wild Love, great song.
I want love when riding. I love that song, man.
Yep, Love Street, which is again another love song, but now he moved on from his past. He's with Pam and Hello, I Love You, and there's a lot of good songs on Waiting for the Sun. But to me, I call this the bridge album. It's the bridge from the beginning Doors into the blues Doors.
Mm-hmm.
And going forward past that, it becomes a whole different dynamic.
I wish he didn't die, man. I wish he didn't die. 5 albums in. 5 albums ain't enough. 5 albums ain't enough.
No, it's not. And he would have been an amazing blues artist. He would have
been an hysterical old man. Hysterical.
I don't
think he would have been a phenomenal old man.
Lived past.
Well, I'm just saying if he did, if he could have lived,
he
would have been a great old man if it was possible.
Yeah, he would have been. But I would have been really interested to see in what other blues albums the Doors came out, because they would have flashed right into the 70s and right into the underground, because they would have not, I would imagine, not given into that whole disco pop 70s type of.
No, they would have. Yeah, they would have been more. I don't want to say Southern Rocky. They would have been more
bluesy. I think they would have been like Sawgrass Expressway, bluegrass type of music. You know, it would have been really interesting to see because there were 4 seriously talented guys. And, you know, there's a lot of dynamics to Jim where he really saw beyond the present, you know. And there was a PBS, and we'll get into that. There was a PBS special that he sang some of the Soft Parade stuff. And he really got into what he saw the future of music as. And it's pretty interesting. And when we get to that, we'll tell you about it. But you gotta wait.
What's one of his greatest quotes? One of his greatest quotes is, "To be a real superstar in this country, you have to be either an assassin or a singer." And I think that's a fucking phenomenal view of America at the time.
Really true.
Daddy.
What, Jana?
Mom.
All right. Yeah, man. So that's cool. I can't wait for that. Can't wait for the next one now.
Yeah, me too. We do again, like we said last week. We're not sure when. It'll definitely be within a week. It could be tomorrow. It could be 4 days. It could be 7 days. It could be 3 days. Who knows? But we will give you a heads up as early as possible when the next show is out there. And not to, I'm assuming that's Farachi saying our voices are amazing. Not to despair, because if you can't catch it when we say we're going to go live, we are out there. Especially if you go like Pop Culture Pros on YouTube and subscribe, you will know when our videos are loaded. Make sure you check us out on every single social media outlet there is out there. Pop Culture Pros, we are available. And
if you don't like our faces, but you like our amazing voices, thank you, Farachi. We're on Anchor. We're on all those pop culture, all those podcast sites. We are on there also. Search us there. You can just listen to our melancholy beauty voices instead of looking at this face.
And the cool thing is our show is set up in a way that you can actually just listen to the podcast, and you'll get a similar experience. So do it.
Of course, you won't see Keith's head on the midget's body, but that's okay.
Hold on.
It's always funny. We got to make a face, though. Yeah, there you go.
You got to screenshot that from me.
Oh, Daddy.
Screenshot that and send it over.
Wait, hang on. I'm going to do it right now. Let me take your picture.
Daddy.
All right, give me the face. Cool. I'll send it over to you.
Gina, she's answering you before she kicks your ass.
She's fine. Well, we got. Remember, we had a special dedication, Keith. Who was this special dedication to?
Oh, didn't I mention that earlier? So we dedicated our show today to Steve Farachi's brother, Stuart. Stuart, hope you enjoy, brother.
That's right, man. Thank you for liking the Doors and being a fan and all that good stuff.
Cheers, bro. You're one brave little fellow.
That's right.
So next week is Waiting for the Sun. I say next week, but like I said, it could be any day now. Next week just sounds easy to say. We
could do a Super Bowl preview show and just do Waiting for the Sun. We don't know. Wiki. Wiki.
So A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y. Why? Because we say so. Have a great day, everybody. Pop Culture Pros. Check us out on every social media aspect. Subscribe on YouTube. And peace.
Do it.
Oh, I'm stalling because I'm on the wrong screen. I got to end broadcast. Later, guys.
No, you're stalling because you want to be the midget.